I was totally shocked when I learned who this WWE superstar is outside of the squared circle. You may know him as one of the greatest WWE superstars of all time, but do you know what this superstar did before he came to WWE? Well, before he made his WWE debut, he was busy making history at the Olympics. And it turns out that this WWE superstar is a real-life Olympic gold medalist. That's right, this current WWE superstar actually won an Olympic gold medal. And today we're going to take a look back at that moment in history. I'm your host, and this is the first ever episode of Now. Let's get started. Kurt Angle burst onto the professional wrestling scene in 1998, and he immediately began a legendary career. In WWE, Kurt Angle became known as one of the greatest technical wrestlers of all time. And while many wrestlers came close, no one was able to match his sheer intensity inside the ring. Kurt Angle could be a serious wrestling machine, but he could also be a hilarious goofball. So what was the secret behind Kurt Angle's amazing in-ring persona? Well, it all started with his amateur wrestling career. But before we talk about Kurt Angle's rise to fame in professional wrestling, let's take a look at his rise to fame in amateur wrestling. When Kurt Angle first stepped foot into the world of professional wrestling, he already had an impressive resume. During his collegiate years, he was a two-time NCAA Division I national champion at Clarion University of Pennsylvania. Not only that, but after college, he was named the 1995 World Champion at the World University Games. But Angle wasn't satisfied with all those accomplishments. He wanted more, so he decided to go for the gold at the Olympics. In 1996, Kurt Angle represented the United States at the Atlanta Summer Olympics. And as soon as he stepped foot on the mat, it was clear that he was a force to be reckoned with. In the qualifying round, Angle won his first match by a technical superiority over Poland's in his next match. He faced off against Bulgaria's once again. Angle won by technical superiority, so he cruised through the qualifying rounds. In the semifinals, he faced off against Russia's. This was by far his toughest match of the Olympics. It went down to the wire, but ultimately Angle was victorious. This win set up the stage for the finals, where he would face off against the most decorated wrestler in Olympic history, Alexander Caroline of Russia. Now, if you don't know much about amateur wrestling, let me catch you up. Basically, there are 3 ways to score points in an international-style wrestling match. First, you can score a point by taking your opponent off their feet and keeping them there for a few seconds. Second, you can score a point by holding your opponent in a certain position called exposure for a few seconds. And third, you can score a point by pinning your opponent's shoulders to the mat for a few seconds. It should be noted that each of these moves is worth 1 point. Now I know you're thinking, well, if it's that easy, then why doesn't everyone just pin their opponent's shoulders to the mat? Well, it's not as easy as it looks, because if you attempt this move and fail, you'll actually give up a point instead of scoring one. So you have to be very careful when attempting this move. So now that you understand the rules of amateur wrestling, let's get back to the finals. From the opening whistle, it was clear that both Angle and Caroline were evenly matched. Neither man was able to gain an advantage early on, which led us to sudden death over time. After several minutes of intense back-and-forth action, it was still a close match. Suddenly, Kurt Angle took control, and he executed a move that few people had ever seen before. He lifted Caroline up and slammed him to the mat. Angle immediately got 2 points for this move, but it looked like it might not be enough. With only a few seconds left in the match, Caroline managed to escape, and he took Angle down. Caroline then held Angle in an illegal move for several seconds, but the referee didn't see it. Had the referee seen this move, then Angle would have lost the match. But since he didn't, Angle was awarded the gold medal, and he became the first American to win an Olympic gold medal in wrestling since 1988. After winning the gold medal, Kurt Angle decided to turn professional, and he signed with WWE. On his first night on the job, he met with Vince McMahon, and Vince told him to be himself, and that he would help him become a star. Finally, the time had come. Kurt Angle was going to make his WWE debut. Vince McMahon decided to save Kurt Angle's debut for the 1999 Royal Rumble, and the crowd went wild when he came out at number 30. Once the bell rang, Angle went on a rampage and eliminated 8 wrestlers. Unfortunately, he was eliminated by the Big Show, but Angle showed the world that he was a force to be reckoned with. From that moment on, Kurt Angle became one of the top stars in WWE. Throughout his career, he feuded with the best, including The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Triple H, and Brock Lesnar. He also accomplished pretty much everything there is to accomplish in WWE. He's a 5-time WWE champion, a 2-time WCW champion, a former United States champion, a former World Tag Team champion, a former Intercontinental champion, a former European champion, former WWE Grand Slam champion, and a former Royal Rumble winner. And to top it all off, he was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame in 2017. So why is it that Kurt Angle was able to accomplish so much in WWE? Well, it all started with his amateur career. Kurt Angle had 3 I's that made him the superstar he was. Those 3 I's were intensity, integrity, and intelligence. Let's start with intensity. When Kurt Angle stepped foot into the ring, he brought an unmatched intensity. He was always willing to put his body on the line and do whatever it took to win. Whether it was performing death-defying maneuvers or putting himself in harm's way, Angle was always willing to go the extra mile. His intensity was evident in every match he competed in. And it was this intensity that made him such a compelling performer. The second I that made Kurt Angle great was integrity. Kurt Angle was a man of great integrity, and he carried that integrity with him into the ring every night. He was always honest with his fans, and he never betrayed their trust. This integrity made him a role model for young wrestlers, and it also made him a fan favorite. Even when he was a heel, Angle was always able to convince the audience that he believed in what he was doing. This was because he was a man of integrity, and he carried himself with honor. And the third and final I that made Kurt Angle great was intelligence. Kurt Angle was a very intelligent wrestler, and he used that intelligence to his advantage both inside and outside the ring. He was always thinking several steps ahead, and he was always able to anticipate his opponent's moves. This intelligence allowed him to defeat some of the smartest wrestlers in the game, such as The Rock, and Triple H. Angle was also very intelligent when it came to playing the game of professional wrestling. He knew how to hype up the crowd, and he knew how to make himself look good. He was also very good at staying in the good graces of WWE management, and this helped him to main event many of WWE's biggest shows, including WrestleMania. So those are the 3 I's that made Kurt Angle the superstar he was. His intensity, integrity, and intelligence are what allowed him to succeed in the highly competitive world of professional wrestling. Without these 3 traits, Angle may not have been able to become one of the most beloved wrestlers of all time. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Also, be sure to check out my social media. Thanks for watching.